Hello. Today I was thinking about something that somebody said recently. It just reminded me of this idea that ChatGPT, large language models, whatever, are a replacement for Stack Overflow. I was wondering if that's actually true. I don't think it is, because what is Stack Overflow? Stack Overflow is somewhere you go when you have a coding question. And most of the time you just read the top answer, copy and paste some code from it, and you're done. But there's actually another skill involved, I think, in using Stack Overflow as a resource, because sometimes you have to read 2 or 3 top answers, because sometimes it's not relevant. Like sometimes the top one is not quite the same, version of library or something that you're using, so the top answer doesn't work. So you actually need an understanding of all the code, or like most of it, in the whole thread, not just the top answer. And so there's actually critical thinking involved, something around like looking for something and knowing it's right when you see it. And I think if you ask a programming question to a large language model and it gives you, maybe the right answer, right? But it'll certainly give you an answer. You'll be very confident about it. But you don't use that critical thinking muscle of trying to identify whether it's the right answer, whether there are other options you can try. And yeah, you can have that conversation with the model and still get somewhere. And because it was trained on Stack Overflow, it probably has all those other secondary answers in there somewhere in the training data for it to dig out for you. But I just feel like, again, taking the easy route of asking the large language model, we're skipping that critical thinking step of evaluating a bunch of answers. And you also miss a sort of human element of Stack Overflow sometimes, which is people arguing about implementations, which again you can learn from, which you don't get unless you specifically prompt a large language model to do so. Now, if I wanted to recreate Stack Overflow in my environment in Claude Chat or something, right, I could do it because I could prompt it to give me the kind of things I would see on Stack Overflow. But if you're a junior programmer, if you haven't programmed for a long time, you don't think that's a thing you want it to do, so you don't do it, so you miss out on all these other benefits. So I still think Stack Overflow has a place. And for learners to find answers there, I think it's probably a lot of the time more valuable than using the direct route with the chat GPT and large language model, whatever. I don't know. What do you think?